All right, so today we're tackling a story about 2024 PT5, which, for anyone who hasn't been glued to their telescopes lately, was this mini moon that decided to pay Earth a little visit. And I gotta say, my first thought was, oh, how cool, a tiny little moon hanging out with our big one. But then, well, this story takes a bit of a turn, doesn't it?
It does. You know, it reminds me of how throughout history, humans have always had this complicated relationship with the sky, right? Like anything that disrupts what we think of as normal up there, it tends to trigger something primal, something almost unsettling.
Totally. Like, it's not just a scientific curiosity. It's almost like this instant story generator in our collective imagination. And that's what I found so captivating about The Visitor, Earth's temporary mini-moon, and its dark secret, our source material for this deep dive. It taps into that really primal reaction we have to the unknown, especially when it comes to space.
Absolutely. And what I find really clever is how the author uses that. See, mini-moons, while not exactly common, are unheard of, right?
Yeah.
We know they happen. But there's this one detail, this mention of PT5 moving erratically, and suddenly, even if most people wouldn't know why that's significant astronomically, it plants that seed of doubt. Like, hold on, something's not right here.
Right, like a subtle shift from fascinating to, wait a minute, and from there, well, it seems like the rumor mill went into overdrive. It's amazing how quickly speculation can spiral, especially when you're talking about something as inherently mysterious as space.
Oh, for sure. The source talks about all these whispers starting to circulate. People claiming PT5 was hollow, that it was some kind of alien probe, even, and I love this one, that it was a harbinger of, well, you know, the end of times. It's like that classic human need to fill in the blanks when faced with uncertainty, but with an extra dose of cosmic dread thrown in.
It's fascinating, isn't it? You'd think with all our fancy technology, our understanding of the universe, we'd be a bit more level-headed. So what was it about PT5 that really tipped things over the edge? Was it just the rumors, or was there something more?
The rumors played their part, definitely. But if you ask me, there was a turning point, a moment when that low hum of anxiety became, well, impossible to ignore. The signal, that's when things really went haywire.
Yes. The press conference, even just reading the description in the source sent chills down my spine. That whole scene, so masterfully crafted to build suspense.
Talk about a masterclass in suspense. You've got the government official, clearly nervous, struggling to maintain composure, and then, boom, the announcement. PT5 is emitting a signal, they say, and not just any signal, one that's, well, decidedly not natural. And then silence. Broadcast ends just like that.
It's brilliant. It's like the author hit the pause button at the moment of peak tension, leaving us hanging on the edge of our seats. I mean, talk about a cliffhanger.
It's not just a cliffhanger, though, is it? It's this incredibly effective way of mirroring the experience of the characters, and by extension, us, the audience. One minute you're trying to wrap your head around this strange mini-moon. The next, you're hit with a mystery that cuts right to the core of, well, our place in the universe. Are we alone? What does it all mean? And then nothing. Silence.
And of course, that's when things go from strange to, well, let's just say it gets even weirder from there. And it's not like the story just leaves us hanging with those questions, right? Like, the source goes on to describe this shift in people's anxieties. It's almost like the fear itself starts evolving.
It's true. It's like, at first, it's all about the vastness of space, the unknown. But then the author subtly starts to turn that fear inward, you know, like making us question what might be hidden right here beneath the surface.
Yeah, because of course, PT5 doesn't just keep broadcasting that message, does it? Like in the story, it vanishes.
Gone. Poof. As if it defied the laws of physics, disappeared into thin air.
Which, I gotta say, is a pretty terrifying thought on its own. But then, just when you think it can't get weirder, the source hits us with another twist. The signal, it comes back.
But it's not coming from space anymore, is it?
No, it's not. It's coming from underground. I mean, talk about a gut punch, right?
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah. You know, that primal fear of what lurks beneath the surface, what we can't see or control. It's way more unsettling than anything, you know, floating around in space.
Oh, absolutely. It's like the author took all those anxieties we project onto the cosmos and like injected them into our own backyards. And the way the source describes it, people's reactions, it's not just about the fear of the unknown anymore. It's almost this visceral feeling like the earth itself has become unfamiliar.
Right, like you trust the ground you walk on, and suddenly you don't. And the author really drives that home with those sensory details. The source mentions a low hum that people start to hear, this vibration that seems to resonate deep within their bones. unknowns.
Yeah, it's like, how do you even begin to rationalize that? And it really makes you wonder, like, what would you do in that situation? Would you trust the scientists, the government, or would you be, stocking up on canned goods and digging a bunker in your basement?
It's like the ultimate what if, right? And what I find so compelling is that the source, it doesn't offer any easy answers. It doesn't tell you what to think. Instead, it forces you to confront your own vulnerabilities, that deeply ingrained human fear of the unseen. And that's what makes it so effective, so chilling, even as you're turning the pages, wanting to know what happens next.
So we're left with this image, this signal, once a mystery from the vastness of space, now pulsing from beneath our feet. It's unsettling, to say the least.
And that's where the real power of this story lies, I think.
Yeah.
It's in the unanswered questions, the loose ends the author leaves us to ponder.
It's like that feeling you get after a really good movie, You keep replaying certain scenes, analyzing the characters' motivations, trying to piece together your own interpretation.
Exactly. And that's what elevates The Visitor from, say, a simple sci-fi thriller to something more, something that stays with you long after you've finished reading. It sparks a conversation not just about the story itself, but about our place in the universe, about the limits of our understanding.
It really does. I mean, we started with this mini moon, this, like you said, relatively familiar astronomical event, and somehow we've ended up in this space that's both fascinating and terrifying.
And I think that's a testament to the author's skill, that ability to use something as seemingly mundane as a celestial object to explore these much larger, more profound themes: fear, uncertainty, the nature of reality itself.
It's true, and it's that willingness to lean into the ambiguity, to not give us all the answers, that makes the story so effective. Because, in a way, it mirrors our own lives, doesn't it? We're constantly bombarded with information, with events that challenge our understanding of the world, and it's up to us to decide how we react, how we process those unknowns.
That's a really important point. It's easy to get caught up in the fear, the what-ifs. But this story, as unsettling as it is, it also reminds us of the power of curiosity, the importance of seeking answers even when they're elusive.
I like that. Seeking answers, even when they're elusive. It's a good note to end on, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the most valuable lessons are those that leave us with more questions than answers. The ones that urge us to keep exploring, to keep questioning, and to never lose that sense of wonder about the universe and our place in it.
Couldn't agree more. So to anyone listening, if you're looking for a story that will stay with you, one that'll make you think a little differently about the world around you, I highly recommend checking out The Visitor, Earth's temporary mini-moon and its dark secret. It's a reminder that even in the vastness of space, it's often the smallest, most unexpected discoveries that can have the biggest impact.
Well said.